This is an ABC News special report.
And good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kira Phillips. We are coming back on the air because the White House now says that those two National Guard members that were shot here in Washington, D.C. have died. The shooting happening just a short time ago, about a block from the White House and also not far from us here at the ABC News Bureau. Those Guard members from West Virginia, they were deployed by President Trump. It was part of his effort to crack down on violent crime in the city. Police saying the suspect was shot and wounded. That suspect now under arrest. President Trump responding as well, praising the National Guard and saying that that suspect, quote, will pay a very steep price. Let's get straight to our Jay O'Brien. He has been on the scene. All right, we'll get to Jay in just a second. First, our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky. And Aaron, the governor of West Virginia, just moments ago confirming to us that sadly, a day before Thanksgiving, these two members of the National Guard that have been shot on the streets of D.C. are now dead.
The West Virginia governor, in a post on social media, writing, Kira, that it is with great sorrow that we can confirm both members of the West Virginia National Guard who were shot earlier today in Washington, D.C., have passed away from their injuries. The governor's statement does not identify those Guards members, but says these brave West Virginians lost their lives in the service of their country, and adds, we are in ongoing contact with federal officials as the investigation continues. But the governor says all of West Virginia grieves with the families, their loved ones, and the Guard community. West Virginia will never forget their service or their sacrifice. And the governor ends his statement, Kira, by saying we will demand full accountability for this horrific act. The authorities are still piecing together the circumstances of what led to the shooting of these two members of the West Virginia National Guard. A suspect, and it is believed there is just one suspect now, has been taken into custody. It's possible that the Guardsmen were able to return fire after they were shot and struck the Guardsman, who is now said to be in critical condition at the hospital. Kira.
All right, Aaron, stay close. I want to take it now to our Chief Justice Correspondent, Pierre Thomas. Pierre, these National Guard members were put on the streets of D.C. By the president to fight crime. It was controversial at the very beginning. Even the mayor was not comfortable with what was happening, but then eventually she did get on board, and the response was positive. Those seeing the members of the National Guard at our train station, Union Station, at the metro stations, we were coming to and from work, at tourist sites near the Smithsonian, museums, the mall, other places. People were getting comfortable seeing members of the National Guard on our streets. Now, sadly, 2 lives are lost trying to prevent the kind of crime that took their lives.
Well, in speaking to D.C. police, who are coordinating all of this investigation, we had some guidance that these injuries were critical. We also had some guidance that they were likely fatal. The governor has now confirmed that information, that both the National Guardsmen are from West Virginia. The guidance that we have from sources, and they're still interviewing witnesses to piece together the most specific timeline and protocol that they can. But about 2:20, those National Guardsmen encountered a suspect who was armed. There was an exchange of gunfire. Both National Guardsmen were injured. The suspect was, we believe, according to sources, injured as well, and has been taken into custody. We should be getting information about that suspect's name and what the specific charges will be. The irony here is that particular metro stop is not one known for a great deal of crime. It is very much near the White House. As you say, it is near our Washington Bureau of ABC News. I had encountered the National Guardsmen often in going to lunch and also using that particular metro stop. This is just tragic on all levels. And even though crime has been going down in the city in general, even before the National Guardsmen were deployed, the fact remains in this country we have chronic gun violence with a lot of people that have weapons and are willing to use them. D.C. police are always at the ready to deal with it. But again, that particular area, which is so near the White House where there's lots of activity, is not known as a high crime zone. But suffice it to say, now you have all of government, from ATF, FBI, the FBI director has responded, the Attorney General has responded. They all know that this use of National Guard to help with crime prevention and control in the city was something that was a huge priority to the White House. It is something that has been playing out around the country. And to have this happen, obviously, has caused a great deal of concern among law enforcement. As our reporting thus far is that there were initial concerns about a possible other suspect involved. Right now, they have one suspect in custody. The belief is that they have the person, at least who fired the weapons, the gun at the National Guardsmen. And again, tragically, the information released by the governor now confirmed those National Guardsmen are dead.
Heart-wrenching. Pierre, thank you. Let's get straight to our Jay O'Brien, who's there at the scene. Jay was actually our photographer, Chris Plater, who was out in the area on a shoot and heard those gunshots immediately. You met up with him there on the scene. Chris even seeing EMS working on those two members of the National Guard, desperately trying to save their lives. And now we have the heart-wrenching news that just a day before Thanksgiving, these two brave members of the National Guard from West Virginia have sadly passed away. Take us back to when you arrived there on the scene, what you saw, what you heard, what Chris was able to capture on video, and now we're receiving the devastating news from the West Virginian governor that those two members of the National Guard have passed away.
Yeah, Kira, and a dark cloud has really fallen over this scene here, right outside the White House, just about a block away. I want to show you exactly the scene that we've witnessed now. We've been pushed back a little bit since last we spoke, but you can see the massive federal law enforcement presence there as investigators across the federal government and local law enforcement continue to go through this scene. And it's tough to see. I'm going to have Chris, our photographer, who, as you said, was an eyewitness to all of this, pan as left as he can. It's difficult to make out, but over here on my left are members of the National Guard who have been here for the entirety of the afternoon, for just hours. You can't see them, but they're standing there. I can tell you, when we first arrived on this scene and news began to ripple outwards that there were two members of the National Guard who were wounded, those guardsmen there who have been standing here guarding this scene became emotional. And now, as this news breaks of those two guardsmen having lost their lives, there is again a feeling of tragedy here. Chris Plater, our cameraman, who's on the other side of the lens of this camera right now, ran to this scene because he said he heard repeated gunshots. And when he arrived on the scene, he saw one of those guardsmen down, receiving medical attention. We saw compressions. He says he saw compressions being done on one. The other was receiving another kind of medical attention. When I ultimately got to this scene, right as I ran up, I saw one of those guardsmen being loaded into an ambulance, and that ambulance sped off. And there was a sense of a chaos here. EMS were sprinting here. I was running to this scene behind at least three other guardsmen who were sprinting here as well on their cell phones, trying to get a sense of what has happened. And now, of course, this news, this chaotic scene turning to tragedy and also turning to an ongoing investigation here as this scene continues to be processed to try to figure out exactly what transpired here.
Yeah, well, what transpired is a devastating and sad situation. Just a day before Thanksgiving, two members of our National Guard shot and killed here on the streets of D.C., just a couple blocks away from our ABC News Bureau, just a couple blocks away from the White House. We can tell you they are from West Virginia, one male, one female, as you heard our Jay O'Brien say right there. He was on the scene with our photographer, Chris Plater, who saw EMS desperately trying to save their lives, working on them there at the scene at the Farragut West Metro Center, where more than likely they were patrolling, because that's what our members of the National Guard have been doing ever since the president put them on the streets of D.C. Metro stations, Union Station, our main train station, all our tourist destinations here in Washington, D.C. Now, sadly, two members of our National Guard have passed away after a suspect remains in custody after that suspect shot both of them on the streets of D.C. We're going to return you now to your regular programming. For some of you, that's your local news, but our coverage will continue on ABC News Live and abcnews.com. A complete wrap up on World News Tonight. I'm Kira Phillips. Glad you could be with us, but I will see you back over on the channel on ABC News Live if you want to stream with me.
This has been a special report from ABC News.